And hey, we are live. This is Boles.tv, BOLES.tv. I'm David Boles, and we are live with you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And hey, we just started the show, and we already have a question from the viewing audience. Our old friend in Florida, Gordon, says, ... Lahoma. I don't know what the question is asking. Oh, I get it. He's being funny. Okay, L.A., H-O-M-A. Oklahoma, okay. Funny! Rogers and Hammerstein. My favorite lyric is by Betty Comden and Ed Off Green. Why, oh, why, Ohio? Now that's a funny song. Great lyric. Well, we're getting hot. And we're in the middle of what month is this? June? Is it June? Yes. It's going to be 85 degrees today. It's hot, sticky. It's been that way all week, and it's only going to get worse. That's a big yuck. Big no from me, dog. But it's not just us. The Midwest is frying. Vocally frying, perhaps. Hey, it's a scab update. The middle one, the big bruiser here, has actually fallen off. In the shower. So all three are now healed enough, I guess, where the scab came off. Now it looks very bloody and very ugly as I look at it. Not really keen on how it looks, but it's not hard. Been a week. Pretty fast healing. So it's hot. Washington Square Park is on fire. People play in the fountain, walk around the fountain, make trouble in the fountain. And if you're looking for something new and fun, companies tend to go there and show off their new products. Oh, Gordon says, weather. Weather. Winter Garden, Florida, 84 degrees and fair. Now, 84 degrees here is hot. I don't know if that's like a normal weather for Florida or not. And friends who used to live there tell me that it rains every day in Florida, but only for like 10 minutes and then it goes away. And then maybe it'll rain again in the afternoon, but only for 10 minutes and then it goes away. But the humidity is high. Sounds a little hot to me. What's the humidity, the relative humidity? Oh, there you go. Feels like 94. Now that's hot. So it's going to be 84 and 94. That means your humidity is, oh, look at that. It's raining outside without raindrops. 78% humidity. That's hot. And here's your forecast. 92 by 1 p.m. Oh, we don't like that. Over the next 48 hours, take a look at our hourly forecast. Feels like 97. Humidity's down. 2, cloudy, 3, 4. Oh, that's hot. Then it gets a little better at night. Yeah, I think you need air conditioning in Florida. As I guess you're going to need air conditioning wherever you live in the Americas because it's coming to get us. So if you want to try new things like little foods, or usually it's some kind of drink or soda, they hang out in the park and they just kind of throw their product to people. And usually it's pop. Sody pop. And so yesterday, Jana got one. This. Hey, it's Calypso. Ocean Blue Lemonade. It's very blue. It almost matches my shirt. My shirt is teal, actually. But the lights make it look blue. But this is sort of a lightish teal as I look at it through the window of the imagination of my mind and the light. But here it appears dark blue. It looks better on screen than it does in person. But here's the real kicker. You want to drink this, brother? You want to spend 200 calories on a Calypso lemonade? I don't think so. So I looked it up. I guess it's new here. It appears to be a UK brand that they're bringing over, and they do have a sugar-free version. Now, you would think if you're in French Village, heart of the hippie movement of the 1960s, you would offer a healthier version, and maybe they had healthier. But Janice said they had blue lemonade and they had yellow lemonade. And of course she picked the blue because in Washington Square Park, you don't want to drink anything that's yellow in a bottle. Because you just never know. And you have to shake it well. I don't know why. It doesn't look like there's anything in this other than sugar and water and some kind of coloring. But I will do. And I'm going to open this live and in person. Yeah, baby, that's Snap. That's quality from the United Kingdom. And a little sip. And a little seltzer down your pants. You know, I imitate people. I say California because of Arnold. I say tomato, potato. And I've now learned to drink like this, using two hands. Learned it from Donald Trump, my president. It's pretty good. I'm surprised. But I have a monster in the other room who's expecting to have this whole thing herself. I borrowed it. So maybe I'll take another sip or two, and she won't notice. I have to say, I recommend it. It's sweet without being too sweet. I wish I had the 0-calorie one, because that would be better. But you can't always have what you want. You only got what you need. Hey. There's a big demo day. I have pictures to show you. It's going to be a big demonstration day. Oh, before that, let's see what Commissioner Gordon is saying. The outskirts of Florida as he's frying in his humidity fryer. Gordon says, a lot of the recovery drinks for after workouts have a good number of calories because of how many you lost from sweating them out. Sometimes getting calories is okay. Yeah, I agree. I have a couple of electrolyte drinks that I like a lot. The powdered Pedialyte, really terrific. And this I did not know. I learned this, is that people who at night get up often to go to the bathroom drink a lot of water because they like the water. That's good. And people who know now say, well, drink water, but drink Pedialyte instead, because it's the electrolytes that help keep the water in your body, and so you don't have to get up 3 or 4 times a night. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Electrolytes and salt, those, believe it or not, are the things that help you sleep through the night. That I did not know. So in July, we have a big anniversary coming up. Number 34 for the delicate monster and the ugly me. 34 years of delightfulness. And so you try to prepare a little early. And so I have this wonderful balloon I'm going to show you. Obviously made from China, because it does have that rubbery China smell, if you know what I mean, if you've ordered these in the past. And we ordered a package of balloons, and they're this. Oh, I'm talking through the balloon. Oh, this is an interesting effect. I wonder how NVIDIA Broadcast is handling this. I have drums, too. If they can get me for a DMCA violation if I'm playing with my balloon. So, hey, this is a clear balloon. We didn't know it was clear. We thought they were white. But they have beautiful leaves on them, and they come with stands. So it's like a party decoration, which is great because I'm going to make a big party out of it. Oh. And you order a bag of balloons, and it shows up with 80 balloons inside in a vacuum-sealed thing. So you open the vacuum seal, and half the balloons stick to the seal and sort of tear their way into and out of your heart. but I like it. It looks really terrific. Professor Gordon says, Dr. Samuel Mann, a doctor and professor of clinical medicine at the Weill Cornell Medical Center College, made a video yesterday wherein and whereas he explained that you really should only drink water when you feel thirsty, and not try to hit some water number that you perceive as being necessary, as too much water is way bad. Very good. I think I wrote an article about that, about water logging, and how if you drink too much water, you're in big trouble. I can't remember what it was called, but it's a great article. Now I have to go look it up. And I didn't know that for many people, most Americans, they get all of their water from the food they eat. They don't really need to add extra water, which was surprising to me because I love water. And if you're too thirsty, that could be a sign of diabetes. So you have to be very careful. Oh, that's not going to work because that's the small window. It's going to be terrible. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what it was called. But I did a big expose. And it's not water logging, but that's the idea. It's not inebriation. It's something like that, though. Water, drinking. And there's a great group on Reddit called Hydro Homies, and they completely support the idea of drinking a lot of water. I wish I could remember what it was. Water slaking, maybe that was it. With this WordPress, you got to come up with just the right title or it's not going to find it. Allegedly, it scans all of the article, but not necessarily. Water, slaking. Water, wasn't it water intoxication? No, that wasn't it. Sometimes it's better to search it from the back end. Waterlogging, no. No. Tearing the homeland, no. California oranges, no. And I remember one of our writers, Katha, was against me. She says I drink lots of water and I won't become... Oh, Gordon says he just found it. Oh, there it is. See, Gordon searches better than I do. Oh. Now I have to copy it over into the tiny screen from the big screen. And put it up. Searchmaster Gordon says, I searched for David Boles' water intoxication on Bing. Wow! Now that's very, very, very smart. I wouldn't have thought to go to Google or the Bing to do that. That is very clever. Not clever, smart. I didn't know clever was a bad thing, but as I age, people say if you call someone clever, it's really an insult. Because clever's like scheming, I guess. So water intoxication on the diddly slake. So there you go. So this is talking about how much water you drink and what do you do and how you do it and why you do it. And one of our writers and former friends, Katha, took very strict disagreement with me. That she drinks more water than that. And she will continue to drink as much water as she wants to drink. And I could not convince her otherwise. So I think I need to get Dr. Samuel Mann to send her a cease and desist prescription. Gordon says, hey, I'm sorry to hear she's a former friend. I am too. I'm very severely disappointed. And I've discussed it here before in the stream in general terms, but I'll speak about it again since I've been asked by the Florida gang. When Boles blog started, Go Inside, whatever you want to call it, Urban Semiotic, We were all in this together. I'm not taking any money. It's costing me money to publish. We're not taking any advertising. No one's getting paid. You write because you want to write. And we publish because we publish. The only thing I ask in exchange is exclusivity, because Google and the Bing and the everything else do not like 2 copies of the same article. And most of our writers agreed to that. They understood that. And this was in the early days of the internet, where it was sort of more complex to publish than it is today. And there are authors who have followed that request, and everyone agreed to it in email, and that's the way it is. All in it together. And then things change, and people age, and they start families, they go, and they come back, but they leave their stuff published where it was published. Because really, it's better exposure there than publishing it on your own. And over the years, we've had some people who do not like that. One of them is a former teacher of mine. I had published all of his plays, like 12 plays. He decided he was retiring, and he was going to take his plays that he had given me exclusive rights to publish and publish them on his own website. And I said, wait a minute, why are you doing that? They said, well, I've discovered plays that I didn't even know I'd written. I said, yeah, because they were up, they've been published on my blog for 15 years. Well, you don't own the rights to my plays. I wrote them, and I'm putting them on my website. And I said, well, actually, if you go back and read the email, I do own the publishing rights, because you gave them to me because you're desperate to try to get a publication. And he disagreed, and he did it anyway. So when that happens, what can you do? You only have one solution. The death penalty. Removed him, removed all of his articles. Good luck, see you later. A week later, I get a phone call from that person saying, we need to reconnect. We need to talk. Give me a call. No, there's nothing to discuss. You made it very clear your intention. So that's one dead person. Then you get really disappointed. Because some authors, I'm going to speak generically now, but you know what I mean. Winter Park, not Winter Park, but the Winter Park people know what I'm talking about. Here we go. I remember you got furious with me because I shared a photo on Facebook of a record that was the same photo that I put in an article about the record. And oh, how sad I was to see that article get deleted before I could get published. I think we had a difference of opinion on if sharing a photo on Facebook with friends is like publishing elsewhere. Funny, I think that eventually deleted the post. Well, you either accept the terms or you don't accept the terms. And some writers need a lot of editing, which is what I was very happy to do. I feel that I discovered a lot of new writers and gave them their first break many, many years ago when the internet was just beginning in like 1996. And that meant to have a certain level of quality. If English wasn't their first language, it took a lot of editorial time for me to fix their articles for publication. But I was willing to do it to promote and continue the progression of what was going on in our blog writing together. Just please don't take the stuff that I've worked on for you and you've submitted and published it elsewhere. So, a few years ago, one of our friends got in touch with me from India, and she was, I said, hey, I've heard from you for a long time. Gordon says, I guess I didn't realize that you, Facebook, profile, you've been breaking the terms. I learned then. And she contacted me, and I thought, oh, okay, she's back. Because she was studying in America, then she had to leave because her mother was sick, and she didn't come back, even though she was going into a master's program, and she just decided to stay in India. Okay, that's life. That's how things change. So I thought, well, maybe she wants to republish with us. And I thought to myself, that's a lot of work, but okay, I'm willing to help her if she wants to. No, she was letting me know that she had published, republished, stolen her articles from what I wrote and edited for her and put them on her Medium blog. And I was immediately upset. I mean, Gordon says furious, but I mean, this is all in text, so it's not furious at all. It's just factual. I said, well, that's a violation of your publication terms of agreement. I would expect that from other people, but not you. Why are you reposting this word for word that you copied and pasted? She said, oh, I didn't know. Which is what they all say. Oh, I didn't know. It was the same thing. I didn't know. I didn't know. How did I know? How would I know? Facebook is the same. Wow, it's the same. What do I know? I didn't realize. Okay. Well, now you know. And she told me she deleted them. And I believed her, but I'm not going to spend my time being a detective, a blog detective, and going after her and seeing if she deleted them or not. I trusted her. Then I didn't hear from her again for about 5-8 years. And then she gets in touch again and tells me that she's getting married. And this was at the start of this live stream. So I said, wow, married, terrific. I said, hey. And she had sent me a lot of pictures and video of her being married. And she is older and never been married, no children. And she was marrying an older gentleman who had a daughter. And they were starting a new life together. And she was very happy about it. Great. And she sent me pictures and video, and she said, use these as you wish. And I thought, oh, that's publication. Okay, well, let me ask, how do you feel if I put them on the live stream? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Great. So I said, well, I'd love to have you part of the show. And we were just starting, and so I gifted her a year's subscription to this live stream. We don't do that anymore. It's not worth the money. We don't gift anything anymore. And she said, okay. I said, no strings, but I would love to have you, part of the show. We'll talk about your stuff and you can be in chat. It'll be wonderful. And she said, okay, but I'm married now. So the time your show is on is the private time with my husband. I said, I understand that. There's video on demand. You have complete access because you have a gifted sub for a year. And she said, oh, okay. And she said, by the way, there's a new post on my Medium blog. So I clicked on the link, went and looked, and she had republished all of her articles that I had published on Boles blogs. And they had been up for years, and I did not know. And I was very disappointed. Not furious. I don't get furious. I get very disappointed in people when they lie to me. So I calmly asked her an email. I said, why did you republish all these articles on your Medium? Well, I wrote them. Okay. Then I reminded her of our agreement, and she didn't respond, and she didn't care. And I waited a few days after asking her to remove them, and she did not. And so what is left but the death penalty? So she is not on our author's page. None of her articles appear published anywhere. Because it hurts me and the blog and the other writers who are part of the system of publication we had way back in 1996. Because having duplicate content is frowned upon by the internet giants that search and index your blog. So her republishing on her blog hurts the people who are invested in our blog. And they start all over because one of the important things that bumps up your result, your return in an internet search is length of time being published. And I have a lot of authors who have a length of time of published since 1996. And then they go out 10 years, 17 years, whatever, a year ago, and republish their work, which starts them at 0 for length of publication, because I don't want that content duplicated. And there are people who steal content all the time. They copy and paste, they go and do a DMCA. It's impossible to try to track down. And the major Google engines and Bing, and they all know that people do that. They steal content. So the original content usually gets the nod. But if I spend my time editing people and working with them and forming at least a business friendship with them, and then they lie to you later, oh, I didn't know, oh, it belongs to me. When they've been through that with me before, with other writers, and they're outraged, and well, how dare they? How could they do that? They know the rules. And that was the only rule. So it happens. And so I think she has a year subscription to this live stream. I have banned her, and it was active, I think, for 3 days. And when you give a subscription, it's to only one stream. So it's not like she has a subscription to everything on Twitch. She has a useless subscription to this channel. And then I removed her from, LinkedIn and every other contact place I had, and I blocked her email because I never want to speak to her again as long as I live or as long as she lives. Because she is dead. And that's the thanks I get, and that's the thanks she gets. And I didn't start it. Gordon from Florida, who doesn't know, greatly says he appreciates having fixed my bio, by the way. Okay. Now we're taking a break. Back in a moment. And we are back from break. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv, BOLES.tv. And we are live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Well, I'm all upset. Gordon's getting me all riled up today. So it's time for a little drink of ocean blue lemonade from Calypso. Born in the UK and dying in America. Delicious. And it is actually pretty good. Just can't get over it. Hey, we have a new subscriber. From Winter Park, Florida. Looks like it's Mr. Gordon, Commissioner Gordon. Saying now I won't be able to comment, complain about bad vaping ads anymore. Don't worry. I'll keep you informed of the bad vaping ads. We just had one. I checked on the other screen as I was taking my break. So now... Uh-huh. Yes. It's happening. Hey, look! The ball spot! Cheer for Gordon! I thought it'd be a little more spectacular than that, but I guess I would have to spend more bits to do it. Yay, Gordon! Now, you think you could pin that, but it won't let me pin. It won't let me pin a cheer, or whatever it's called. Gordon says, normally I'm in bits is a bad thing, but here it's nice. Yeah, they used to have some kind of cheer thing for a while that they were testing, where you would cheer $5, $10. And now it seems like that's over and they're back to bits, whatever that means. Now, as I was on my break, not trying to calm down, but just rethinking all of these terrible things, because there are people who you have in your life who you're very fond of, and you spend a lot of time with them. Gordon is one of them. Nicola is another one, who is in Portugal, I think, making wine and having a wonderful time. Who play along, go along, get along, keep their word, which is sort of important, and not done very much anymore. And I don't really remember the Facebook incident. But I do remember there was something that Gordon and I tried that was, I think, with the daily costs. I don't know if it was republishing or putting a link. I don't know if it was his stuff or my stuff. But we talked about it and we decided together to, hey, let's see what happens. See if we get more pump or something. And it was a complete and total disaster within 5 minutes. Whatever we had put up there on Gordon's account got all kinds of vicious comments in like 3 minutes. Gordon says, by the way, there are some cool channel point things out there now. I have followed a person on Twitch that has a button that makes a cartoon frog appear and hop across the screen. It's cute. Or another button tells the streamer to stretch. I've seen those things. I'm not sure if I really figured out how to do it because they're like add-ins. And as you can tell, I have a lot of stuff on the screen already. But I do like the idea. And I think there are some things I have set up that you can do with bits. One of them is write a poem. One of them is Jana will sing a song, but I can't remember how I set them up. So after our data cost experiment, we both kind of said, virtually looked at each other and said, yeah, let's get out of here. And we got rid of the daily cost experiment, which I think was the right thing to do because that was bad. That was like the unfiltered internet. And if people want to yell at us, they can come to the blog and yell at us there. We don't need to go over there and give them fodder to yell at us. But the other thing with this friend, this lost friend that you grieve, now the former teacher, I always knew he was going to do that. I admit it. That's why I was very careful with him and had things in email back and forth. But I knew he was a flake. He was my teacher at Columbia. And he was a flake the whole time. And there was this rumor that was not really a rumor that he had a romantic relationship with one of our fellow students. And then magically, right after that started, she had a school-produced play, and she was a playwright. And it was very hard. You were not, if you were a director, you were guaranteed an MFA thesis play. If you were a playwright, you were not guaranteed a production. So the playwrights were all vicious. Most of them were vicious. I tried not to be. Other people didn't care. But there were those who cared, who wanted to get that production somehow, some way. That slot. Now, would that go over today? No way. Would never happen. But back then, early 90s, have a relationship with someone in power, you get what you want. So when he did that, I had been expecting it for 5-10 years. I didn't expect him to compliment me for preserving all of his plays archaeologically in a library form for him to then copy and paste and put it into his own website. I didn't even know I wrote that play. Thanks for saving it for me. Oh, sure. So that was no loss. The person from India was a loss. That was very difficult. Because that person was, I would say, one of my sheriffs who would sort of rat out other authors saying, hey, this person from Florida, and it wasn't Gordon because he wasn't in Florida at that time. We had another guy there writing a little bit every once in a while. Said, hey, he's reposted this on his Blogspot blog. Oh, thanks for letting me know. Now I have to go have a big confrontation. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I guess, and every once in a while I would hear from this person from India, but what it really came down to is she was, at the time, in America, and she had 2 offers for studies as a master's program, and she didn't know which way to go. She had a full ride from South Dakota State University. No, it was North Dakota State University, NDSU. Full ride, okay? And she had a partial ride from the University of Minnesota. Now, the University of Minnesota is a fantastic school. One of my playwriting teachers who brought me to New York is a gopher, a golden gopher. Well-trained, smart, excellent history, an important, valuable school. North Dakota State University, my opinion, not so much. There is no comparison. And she wanted my opinion. And I said, well, if I were you, I would make it work at Minnesota. But North Dakota State's offering me money. I don't have to pay anything. That's important. It's important to you. But if you, and knowing you, reputation, access to power and influence are important to you, you will do better having an advanced degree, a master's degree from Minnesota, the University of Minnesota, than North Dakota State University. And I don't think she liked my answer. And it was very briefly after that she said that she was moving back to India to take care of her mother. And I was very surprised because her mother had been ill for a long time and she seemed to be fine with it. And she didn't want to go, I guess, to graduate school. So she decided to leave the country. And I said, well, what about, these offers don't always come around. And I had an offer from Columbia for MFA, and I had to defer for a year because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I didn't have any money. And people close to me in the Midwest said, oh, no, don't go. And people I respected who were out in the world, Washington, D.C., said, you must go. You have to go. You must make it work out. And so I did, and it did. But if I had listened to the people close to me, I would still be in Lincoln, Nebraska. People say, oh, you're from Nebraska here, right? New York. Oh, you're from Nebraska. And I say, no. I escaped from Nebraska. There's a difference. Maybe not a very nice one, but it's a difference. So our friend moved back to India. She said, well, when I take care of my mother, things, meaning, I guess, when she dies, I'll come back. Because I know my future is in America, not India. Okay. I get that. I understand. I have a lot of friends who are Indian and who come here. They don't stay there because there's not money and opportunity. And then I got news that her mother died and that she had taken this job and she was happy and she was going to stay there and work. That was, 10, 15 years ago. And so I never asked her if she was coming back because I knew that the answer was she's not coming back. I think she said it's a 17-hour flight from here to India. And she said she arrived home and she slept for 3 days. She was so exhausted. So that's what happens. You get close to people and then they disappoint you. And I'm sure I disappointed her. If I had said, go for the money, NDSU, make it work, go. You probably would have done that. But I didn't. Because I knew it was not the right choice for her. I know her. I knew her. And her expectation and her excellence. She would have excelled at Minnesota. And after a semester or a year, they would have given her a full ride. I'm absolutely, completely, 100% sure of that. But she didn't believe me. So Jana Marie has been working for the state of New York for, I think, 20 years. She just had her celebration. And she decided to celebrate with these lovelies. And they've been sitting here all morning trying to make me happy and get me out of my funk talking about bad things. And it's worked. These are beautiful pink peonies. And they smell wonderful. And they were $4 each in Manhattan, which, believe me, is a tremendous, tremendous bargain. This is my lovely vase that was given to me for my birthday. And these are the pink peonies that have taken over my vase. Jana's favorite flower, believe it or not. I didn't know she had a favorite flower. I always thought she liked roses or tulips or lilies. And she says, I do. But I really like peonies. And then I asked her if it was because of Peony Park. She said, what do you mean Peony Park? I said, well, you know Peony Park is closed. What do you mean Peony Park is closed? I'm just going to show you this because it's hay. Peony Park was like a park, water park, in Omaha, Nebraska. It was created like in 1920. And then it burned down and they built it back up. And then it closed in 1994 to be replaced by Hy-Vee, a grocery store chain. And the thing about Peony Park is it was a water park. And in Nebraska, it's the most landlocked state in the United States. So if you're looking for an ocean, you're not going to find one. A big river, not really, not safely. A pond, yeah, people make ponds. Or they create these little water parks where people go and get out of the 85-degree heat that's killing them in humidity. And so I just looked this up. This is from the Omaha Weird Herald, and I looked this up, and it brings back so many wonderful memories. And Jan said, when did Peony Park close? And there's the man-made lake where you go there and you swim around and you have a little boat. I think when it first opened, way back when, the entrance was filled with beautiful peonies. Now this is a shot that feels like from 1970s. Even though it was taken in, I guess, 1993. But boy, oh boy, that is a tone and a time that we will never recover. Do they even build castles anymore for kids? I don't know. But it's a big loss to the community and the people who care. And you wonder where all those good times have gone. Placed by a parking lot and chicken wings in the Hy-Vee. It's the burning, but they rebuilt it only to tear it down again a few years later. It's very sad. But I love these old photos. There's the water slide, famous water slide. You got stuck halfway down. The water didn't always work very well. But it was still a wonderful, wonderful time. It was like the state fair, Peony Park. But all year long, pretty much. I mean, the wintertime they closed, but they tried to be open as much as possible, just as sort of a refuge for the people of Omaha. This 1994 photo, auctioneer David Norton sells off parts of Peony Park. The ride behind him is the Zero Wave Swinger and sold for $220,000. That icon. Beautiful. The coaster rides. And then I got to thinking about, there's another place called Lenoma Beach. Now doing business under the name Lenoma Lighthouse. And you go to the Lenoma Lighthouse website, and Google will not let you go there because it's an insecure website, which usually means it doesn't have a security certificate. And you can usually click and say, take me there anyway, and you go there anyway. But I clicked and clicked and clicked all morning, and it would not, Google said, you were not going there. So maybe it's infected or something, I don't know. But this is the, I want to say world famous, but let's say regionally famous, Lenoma Beach Lighthouse. And it's about 45 minutes from Omaha, from Lincoln to Omaha. And the thing about Lenoma Beach is it is really ugly and super old. And it's a pond, but people go there to sunbathe. You cannot go into the tower or anything the lighthouse is not on. And why you would need a lighthouse in the middle of Nebraska, nobody's really sure. But the thing is about Lenoma Beach is this beach you're seeing here, it's not sand. It's gravel. And in the hot summer months, that gravel becomes very, very hot, and there are much larger stones in gravel than there are in grains of sand. It's very awful and very uncomfortable. And you think you're being really smart by trying to get out of the heat and going to Lenoma Beach, but going into the pond is really just filthy. So you don't really go there to go swimming, although some people try. You go there to sort of sunbathe in this little cove. And when I was going there, maybe twice over my lifetime, it was free. You just went and parked, sat down. But it makes it sort of sad that people in the Midwest, especially places like Nebraska, you go there and there's really no kind of recreation that they have on the coasts. There's no ocean, there's no big river. You're just sort of stuck on a pretend beach that's made of gravel. And now we're taking a very brief blood pressure break, and we shall return in a moment. And we're back from break. Excuse me. Getting hotboxed by my neighbor every day between 9 and 10. And there was a big bang on the break. I was investigating because something sounded like it fell from the sky and landed on our building. I don't know what it was. I looked in the hallway. I asked the Jana Marie. Nobody knows anything. But I heard it. It happened. Oh, Gordon asks, is that orange bar behind the chair like an exercise thing for pull-ups and push-ups? I do use it for pull-ups, although it's not necessarily intended for that. These are called parallettes. And these are tall parallettes. I have a mini size that I will show you when I go on my next break and bring them over. They're just wonderful. And yes, I use them for dips. I use them for leg raises. They are positioned there because that's the only place they fit me burned. And in order to keep them, I had to put them in here. And they're great for when I'm sitting here typing or doing something. I can just go over there, do some dips, do some leg raises, and feel like I'm not sitting all day. Highly, highly recommended. I love them. Parallettes. Meaning they're like small versions of parallel bars that gymnasts use. So I was just asked about this flaky professor and, why publish in the first place if you know that he's going to go off and do these things? And that's a very interesting question. My very first manager in New York City, Kurt, and I would talk about a lot of things. And sometimes we got into situations that I started having second thoughts about. And I said, this is not going to go well. I know this person is going to, F us over. And maybe we should just get out of it now instead of waiting for it to happen. And my manager said, no. Wait. I said, what do you mean? Why we know this is going to happen. Why do we have to wait for it to happen? Let's just be proactive. And he said, no, that's not the deal. So I said, so I have to wait for him to F us over and then we become proactive. And he said, yes. And I said, why? And he said, well, you don't know that he's going to do that. He will, but we don't know it. It hasn't happened yet. You have to wait for it to happen because right now there's a deal in place. There are agreements. You're not breaking anything by confronting him, but what good does it do? You don't want to push what you think is the inevitable. Just let it happen naturally, and then when it happens, then we'll deal with it. So I thought that was very interesting advice that I then applied to this flaky teacher, knowing that when he came to me saying, oh, look what you're doing. Oh, let me publish with you. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I know what you're going to do because that's who you are. But I'll wait. And it took about 10 years. I'll wait. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to be negative about it. Send me stuff, I'll publish it, even though I know in the end you're going to steal it all back and publish it on your own thing. And I was right. I knew it was going to happen. And that's disappointing. And then I'm reminded again of my first agent in New York, Helen Merrill, very old, very German, escaped the war, came here, discovered a lot of very early stars, Winnie Wasserstein, Christopher Durang, Albert Narado, all from Yale. She made a lot of careers. And for some of her writers, she would even loan them money, which was totally illegal. She loaned one comedy writer $26,000 until his contract came through, and then she took her money back. But that was very nice of her. And she wasn't really a warm person. She was very cold. And she said, the one thing you have to remember in this business, she meant the agenting business, but it could be anything, running your own blog. She said, everybody leaves. I said, well, that's depressing. She said, well, it's just the way it goes. Because she was not a big-time agent. She was a smaller-time agent. And she started them. gave them their career, loaned them money, and then, when William Morris at that time, creative artist at that time, comes calling, offering more money, more opportunities, they leave her and they go with the big time. Everybody leaves. Very, very important to remember. And you can apply that to probably anything. A relationship, a marriage, a friendship. Everybody leaves. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes people stay. The person she'd loaned the money to stayed with her until she died. He was grateful to her. But some people are just there to keep moving up, and they don't care who you are and what you've done for them. They only want to do what they want to do and what's good for them. Oh, and by the way, Commissioner, this is actually, believe it or not, a deep yellow. It looks orange. I agree with you. It's a deep yellow. Probably because of the green lights changing the color. So, hey, I've been drinking the Calypso lemonade all morning, and I never even showed you what I discovered. So I'm going to show it to you now as I take my next drink. Hey, it's called research. There it is, the website for Calypso. It's a taste of the islands. Lemonades, limeades, and lights. I wish we had the light. No, we don't. We have the full sugar. But it's very interesting. It's very peppy. It's very party-like. And it's kind of a well-constructed website. But this is glass. Now, how would you like to be the person stuck in Washington Square Park, 85 degrees, 78 degrees humidity, 73% humidity, and have to hand these out to people? And they weren't cold. That's heavy. That's a lot of work. And as Gordon says, well, you know what they say, all color is a lie. Very interesting. It all depends on your perspective and your light source. Absolutely right. Oh, hey. Now, there's so many things to get to today. I'm running out of time. Remember this. These are the disastrous me avatars. I'll blow that up there. And the new replacement avatars are supposed to appear today around 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern. And the developers posted a technical update explaining what happened and how they're trying to do better and how there were collisions in the avatars that made the eyebrows mouths and the mouths ears, and I guess it was just a big mess. I thought it was kind of funny. So they took them all away, unless you saved yours, and I saved mine, and they are in the process of replacing them. And one of the complaints is, everybody with a cowboy hat, all the avatars with the cowboy hat, had a pink mustache. And this is an example of what they fixed. They said they removed 12 different things from the process. They are now, over the last 2 days, hand-checking 4,444 avatars. And they wanted to know, it should be 4,044 or 5,000. How many should we save and how many should we burn? And I was in the forum and said, don't do 4444 because that in Chinese numerology is death, 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 death. And that is what this has been. Nothing has gone right. And people ignored me and made fun of me, but that's okay. So these are examples of the new improved avatars. And I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, okay, this one, right? With the hat, the mining hat and the eyes, is just like this one with the mining hat and the eyes. Is it really that different? What exactly did they fix? The mining hat and the lips that smile, the mining hat and the lips that smile, the mining hat and the lips that smile. This is what everybody was 2 days ago were complaining about. that they're not unique, that if you have one thing, it's too attached to the other thing. So this is the improvement, I guess. I don't know. Are they that much better than this? This is what I did yesterday. I preserved all my original avatars, and I created them, minted them on OpenSea. I'm not going to sell them, but they're now part of my category, and they are, in all uncertain terms, preserved. And I call them OG Ogres. Original Gangster Ogres. With their original number attached in case anybody cares. And maybe they'll throw a fit and give me a hard time, and I'll say, look, I paid for all of these. I own them. And then you took them away to replace them. That's not my problem. So here they are, all 5, all preserved. OG Ogre, OG Ogre, OG Ogre. And then here you go. Hey, this is supposed to be the replacement that is coming. As is this, a replacement that's supposed to be here at 5 p.m. today. Will it happen? I don't know. Confidence is not high. And hey, speaking of confidence in scam games, our old friend in Florida, Gordon, sent me this yesterday. Wondering what this was, if it's a scam, is it a real thing? Coinapp.co, which I really don't even want to say because I don't want people to go there and look at it and get tricked into becoming part of it. But I guess it's some kind of site where you play games or you do things, you perform tasks, and then you get some kind of money back from it, which I find fascinating. But it sounds a little scammy to me. And when I looked it up, there are a lot of websites that are promoting this. Oh, you can make a lot of money. And then there are other sites like Trustpilot where people go and review it and say, look, don't fall for it. They don't pay. It takes forever to earn any kind of money. Be very careful what you try to do. So Gordon says, well, maybe we should mention this on the live stream so people don't get sucked into it. And I think that's a very good idea. So, and this is what I love about these sort of scammy things is they always put a time frame on it. You must decide now. You have 14 minutes and 31 seconds to make a decision. It's going to go away forever. And at the end of 14 minutes, we're going to send the marshals over you to arrest you because you didn't accept the offer. That's the kind of scam that some of these places run. Order details, one Sentinel NFC device. Gordon says that's a big red flag, of course. Yeah, a lot of red flags going on here. And I read an article the other day. It was very interesting. He said, what about the green flags? All we do is talk about red flags. What are green flags? And it was just kind of, happy-go-lucky article about these are all the good things in life that are green and wonderful. It was fun, but sort of misleading because those things aren't dangerous to you. They don't steal your money. Green flags are good. We know that. And the shipping cost is only $12.95. A Sentinel NFC card, which I don't really understand. It's a card that you're going to work on and get money deposited so you can buy things, I guess. Requires NFC compatibility, not compatible. Oh, with iPhones and older Android devices. So, I don't know anything about coinapp.co. I don't want to know anything about coinapp.co. I think you should be very careful if someone suggests to you that coinapp.co is something that interests you. Because I don't think it's going to turn out well. Hey, speaking of not turning out well, Have you heard of these nutrition clubs? Now, I know there are MLMs, pyramid schemes, Arbonne, Herbalife, LuLaRoe. These are the common, the oil thing, whatever that one is, essential oils. And then you sent me that site that showed bad review after bad review. Yeah, that was Trustpilot. And those were, you could tell just the way they were written, that they were from real people who were very upset. And then you read the other links about how wonderful it is, and you can say, this is just all copy and paste shill stuff. So MLMs are a big problem because they convince people to get involved and give up their life savings to try to make money. And there are, I guess, pop-up stores that are really covers for Herbalife protein shakes. And they're called nutrition clubs by design, because these people in these communities believe that if they call their store a nutrition club, they will not be held to the sanitary standards of a restaurant or a real smoothie shop. So here's an interesting thread on Twitter talking about this. Hey, love that. Hey, so if your local smoothie shop has the word nutrition in its name and does not have listed prices and considers your smoothie purchase to be a membership, you found an Herbalife MLM front trying to dodge health code. Call your local regulators, health department, food safety. And I know people who've done that, and they've been very successful in getting these places shut down. Now, why would you want to shut down a place? Well, let's keep reading. Even if you're somehow of the belief that unregulated restaurants should exist, they should not. Herbalife is a scam company that basically only exists to exploit and steal money from the Latino community. Don't feel bad about shutting down their stupid effing smoothie shops. And I guess there's reports that Herbalife has some big lawsuit going against them because their products mess with your liver in a bad way. And I know there are a lot of people who are into Herbalife, so I'm not trying to offend anybody, I'm just sharing information. These Herbalife shakes are made with ingredients that are not shelf stable. The restaurants aren't subject to health inspections because they're considered nutrition clubs. Clever, right? And food storage in these locations is a effing nightmare. Even if you don't want to call the health department, or at least don't drink the $14 smoothie. Trust me, they don't taste good to begin with. They're not worth getting sick over. Regulators, local regulators, wherever you live, do listen when you report these stores. They just don't know they exist because Herbalife really wants these smoothie shop owners to hide the fact that they sell Herbalife branded smoothies. They literally go as far as telling people to deface everyone's cup after they finish their smoothies. So this, I guess, is from the Herbalife people who are telling these companies what to do. Proper disposal of product containers to protect against those who might seek to counterfeit the Herbalife product. Club operators are required to deface or destroy product labels and containers before disposing of empty containers. Now that's funny. You might be thinking, how are they expected to collect everyone's cups? Don't most people leave after buying a smoothie and the like? Drink it on the go? You might even be thinking, isn't that the whole point of a smoothie? But no, that's not allowed. You have to drink an Herbalife smoothie inside the Herbalife Nutrition Club. Nutrition clubs are not franchises. Nutrition clubs are not restaurants or carryouts. Nutrition clubs are not food service establishments. Nutrition clubs are not retail stores. Nutrition clubs cannot post prices for products but may charge a membership fee. This is all from Herbalife. Nutrition clubs may keep inventory on hand and may sell product at retail. Nutrition club owners must Deface or destroy product labels and containers before disposing in order to protect against counterfeiting. Nutrition clubs must cover the windows so that the interior of the club is not visible from the exterior. Wow. Herbalife instructs distributors that all unopened products must be consumed on club premises. You go into a smoothie store, they say, oh, you can't leave. You can check in, but you can never leave. Herbalife instructs distributors that any open product cannot be removed from the whatever store. Was kind of expecting this thread to go nowhere. I am for sure waking up to a sternly worded email from a lawyer tomorrow morning. And then he goes on to share this YouTube video that we cannot watch, Herbalife Cafe spilling the tea, multi-level meow meow. So be careful, they're out there and they're trying to get around health code violations and food handling safety by calling themselves a club. And you can't ever leave until you turn over your cups and utensils. And now we're taking one final break, and then we're going to come back and talk about Mechanical Turk. It'll be very interesting, and there are a lot of connections that are quite fascinating. Returning in a moment. And we're back from break. I'm David Boles. This is Boles.tv. BOLES.tv, live and in person. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. And while we were away, Gordon said something very curious just happened. When you just took your break, the screen froze, with the music still playing. And then after several moments, you left in a very fast speed, like watching fast forward a video. That is interesting. I've never seen that, but it's Twitch. It's very glitchy. And it really happens a lot on Janet's show, probably because I left fast. Because sometimes when she's signing and she's going very quickly, getting close to the camera, it'll glitch. Nothing I can do about it. We've lost 30 frames so far over a 2-hour period, which is terrific, really. Usually we sometimes lose more than that. In the iMac days, we were losing like 24% of our frames. And our CPU usage was 70%. Our CPU usage under our new deal is about 1%. And that includes our new mic-in NVIDIA broadcast microphone. Well, I forgot I was going to show you parallettes, which I have with me. I might even do a little demonstration on the ones behind me. Now, the ones behind me are tall parallettes, and they're actually connected on the ground by a little bar. And you don't have to connect them, but I connect them because it makes them more stable. And I probably will save the Mechanical Turk stuff for tomorrow because it's too interesting and very intricate. I'm going to have to concentrate. So I think I'm going to show you a little bit of my parallette. And remember, when you're on a live stream with the camera adds 10 pounds. How many cameras are on you? That's the old joke. I think that's from Tootsie. A lot of good jokes in Tootsie. Larry Gobart, funny guy. So I'll show you some of the exercises that I do. Because I cannot recommend parallettes enough. I won't be able to do the pull-up, I don't think, because I have stuff there. Maybe I can. I'll leave the microphone on. I'll try to shout, and I won't be long. And then I'll show you the mini parallettes that I also have as well. And this is made of tubular steel, as they say. The brand is Relife. Okay, so microphone's on over here. So sometimes you just do a dip, yeah, and then back up. Oh, sometimes straight up, 10. Sometimes one at a time. Sometimes just knees. Let's see if I go this way, yeah. I put these up and take these down every day, so forgive me. And then this is how I do my pull-ups. I wish I had a pull-up bar, but I don't have one. I need one, but I don't have one. Under here. Oh. Pull up from here. Right, straight up. Oh. Very difficult. The dips are the hardest, though. Takes a lot of energy. Down. Up. Oi. The rest of the day. Okay, now I'm running for the rest of the day. But that is a great exercise. When you've been sitting here for 2 hours, on the phone and you're writing an article, go do a dip or two. Very difficult. But fun. Get your heart rate up. Where's my heart rate now? Live heart rate measuring. It was 107. It's not telling me anything. Well, what good is that? My goodness gracious. That says a 70. Okay, that's very good, actually. So that is the tall parallettes, which I didn't even know there were tall parallettes because I only found the small parallettes. So here's these are mini parallettes, right? Okay, tiny, right? And they have chalk dust all over them. Made of tubular steel. This is sort of a foam grip. And they're very sturdy. They don't look sturdy, but they're sturdy. Now you can do L-sits using these, but you're not very far off the ground. So if you don't have a lot of arm strength to really push yourself up, it's not going to work very well. But these are great for doing push-ups because you're going down, right, farther than you can in a regular push-up. So that's what people use mini parallettes for. Now, the thing with these mini parallettes is they're steel, and this is a rubber, not really a foam. So it's not very soft. Hurt your hands. So what do? I'm going to show you. Oh! You don't use those mini parallettes. You use these mini parallettes from Germany. Now these are absolutely full of chalk dust, as you can see. My favorite exercise tool. Pull up and dip, I guess. I think that's the brand name. Now these are made in Germany, as I said. They are oblong, the grips. They are completely made of wood, right? So when I use these only for push-ups. So when you're doing your push-ups, your wrists don't hurt, your hands don't hurt. It's a completely different experience from using a metal parallel. So if you're going to make a decision, and they're about the same price, go for the wood. Your wrists will thank you. This is the time where I wish I had a little Jack and Coke. Calm me down. Have a little sugar to speed me up. Well, this was a show. All wound up, all wound down. Wound myself up again. And I'm ready to go outside and go running. The blood is flowing. Misery is coming. And we talked about Lenovo Beach, and we talked about Peony Park. We talked about these beautiful peonies. They're still here, along with our beautiful clear balloon that we didn't know was blue. I mean, it was clear. Put them together, and what do you have? Hey, it's a birthday party. Celebration. A lot of fun. New subscriber checking in Winter Park, Florida. Commissioner Gordon on board. We thank you very much for that. And now we don't ever have to talk about advertising again. Except, of course, to continue to make fun of it. And we talked about loss and friendships and people who, are going to F you over, and there's nothing you can do until they do it, which I think is really very valuable advice. That's the problem. INTJs kind of know what's going to happen before it's going to happen, which is a blessing and a curse, because we have to be patient as we wait for people to be themselves. So if you have any thoughts or questions, you can email me, david@boles.tv. Questions for Jana Marie are jana@boles.tv. On Twitter, we are David Boles. Super follow to follow. On Facebook, regular old BOLES. Instagram is Boles Books. TikTok is Boles TV. Thanks for having us, Gordon says. Thank you for being here. We'll see you in a day or two. Our Discord server is always open for business. If you want to share something, images, video, you can upload it there, and I will download it and share it here. It's a fun place to hang out and have a good time. So, dear friend, until tomorrow, I wish you a lovely nap, a happy day, a good wake up, and a fantastic sleep. And when ye shall awaken, may your soul be filled with joy and the anticipation of always doing the right thing. I'll see you tomorrow.